We're now powering up the aircraft. Foxeer camera is alive. The vector system has figured out all it needs to know. It's awaiting its fix. GPSs. It's now achieved that. It's determined its home position. I put the mode into gyro stabilize. It's a very rough day today, very windy. We're getting ready to taxi. Look at the left-hand side, the vertical scale, that is ground speed as determined by the GPS. On the right-hand side is altitude, which now we've taken off. We're flying at somewhere in the order roughly 20 miles per hour. We're climbing through 200 feet, 250, 300 feet, etc. Now I just flipped it to loiter mode. At whatever altitude it's at, when that switch is flipped, that loiter mode will now cause it to try to maintain an approximately 60-foot radius around the fixed point in space. It'll vary 20 feet or so in altitude, and it'll have to make corrections because there's strong wind and gusting conditions up here. So we're hovering around 350 feet. And you get a glimpse of the airfield from time to time. It's now back into the non-loitering. I'm driving the plane. Maximum altitude is exceeded. I've set that at 450 feet to give a warning when I go above that. There's also a distance. If I go past 2,000 feet away from home, it would indicate that as well. There's the flying field ahead of us. A lot of busy stuff there. Towards the right-hand lower part of the screen, there's a timer countdown. It's a little bit obscured with between what the Foxeer camera is putting on the screen and the vector. That little squiggly line, that's a variometer. Right ahead there's the flying field. Easy to see. I've engaged RTH, return to home. Anywhere at all that gets engaged, or if it engages by virtue of loss of transmission power and going to failsafe, it will head back home at a specified altitude. It will then begin to circle as in loitering around the home position, or it can be canceled at any time, and as I just did there and told it to loiter again. Meanwhile, up at the top, lots of information from the left. Climb rate, upper left-hand corner. Course is your true compass course, as is on the bottom of the screen. There's the graphical compass indicator. Up at the top again, in feet, is the height above ground. Two ways of measuring that. The top one is via the GPS calculation. The bottom one is via its internal barometer or altimeter. Again, in the middle, it's 450, 550 so feet away from home base. And it hit the altitude limitation. Moving along more toward the right. As we loiter here, it's 11.38 volts or so in the battery pack. Throttle setting follows pretty much what I set on the stick, or in this case, during loitering, it manages throttle. It's currently drawing about 10 amps, and it's consumed 1,380 to 1,400 milliamp hours since takeoff. By the way, we are not observing the curvature of the Earth, despite what people seem to think. You would have to be in something like SR-71 Blackbird or a space shuttle or something to actually see the curvature of the Earth. You're seeing camera aberration. This is a very wide-angle lens, so it's hard to get any sense of distance. Now there's the flying field. We're considerably out west. We're about 1,200 feet or so. I'm coming back to the flying field now. Being jostled around considerably by the very rough conditions today. Now, most of what you see, though, is the stabilization system taking care of things. I'm making some adjustments, but for the most part, the stabilizer is doing the hard work. We're getting down. We're now supposedly about 30, 20 feet, 10 coming up, flaring, touchdown, and the sunrise. A couple of things. Then we'll just wait and taxi or retrieve.